Have you ever wondered, guys, if Konami decided to eradicate erratas, any future production of erratas, we would all be happy and celebrating, why wouldn't we? Of course we would, because they wouldn't kill our gold cards now, wouldn't they?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
But come on, guys, you wouldn't want to see your card being eradicated, more like eradicated. Well, for this video topic for today, I want us to focus on the cards that are completely untouched by some sort of errata that are currently in the forbidden list. Yes, all those cards, all the spells, all the monsters, all the traps, we're going to be looking at them. I'm going to pinpoint 10 of those cards that I personally believe that will never ever be unbanned if they never ever had an errata. Please, Konami, don't do that to us. Don't kill our nostalgia. Well, all that being said, guys, this is Stanklord Supremes here, and this is my personal top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh cards that will never ever be unbanned. So let us start out this list, guys, and we're going to start out with Cyberjar. So Cyberjar it's a flip monster. Why would a flip monster be on the forbidden list? I know, right? It had to be a really strong effect. As a matter of fact, it does have a few strong effects, and the reasons behind its being banned, of course, is very simple to understand. The very first effect, obviously, it has a dark hole effect. Basically, when it's flipped face up, it basically destroys all monsters in the field. Simple as that. I know that's not why it's banned. Its secondary effect states as the following. Basically, after resolving its flip effect, both players can draw 5 cards. 5. Not only it allows both players to draw 5 cards, but it also enables players to special summon any level 4 or lower monsters that they got from those cards. And not only that, any monsters that they picked up that were level 5 or higher or they can't special summon, you get to keep those cards. And spells and traps too, you get to keep those cards too. Something that Morphing Jar 2 doesn't do, but Morphing Jar does another thing that hence why it's banned, of course. Yeah. But most notably, this card was played in a deck named Empty Jar. Basically, it runs every single type of jar. You play Book of Taya, Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse later on with the other variants of Morphing Jar, of course. And of course, this card was simply too degenerate to play because it would basically focus on milling your opponent's deck completely before yours. And not only that, the card itself has a very powerful effect. The second effect, like I state, both of you draw all those cards. And if you use it on your turn, you're going to have full advantage. So you have to play this card accordingly, but the card itself is still too powerful to even be legal at 1. Perhaps it's too slow, that's why I placed it at number 10. There's another card that's a flip effect, and you will see why that card is being placed even higher. But for now, let's just let Cyberjar be. Konami, don't touch this card. Let it be. Let it be, please. Number 9, we have Time Seal. Now, as short text that this card has, people would never think of this card being problematic. It basically enables your opponent to skip their draw phase. Ooh, it's so strong. Why is it so banned, right? Wrong. There's reasons why this card is banned, people. As simple as this card text is, people have to realize that skipping your opponent's turn that easily, can be very degenerate and counterproductive for the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that has been done with other cards that I will be listing those cards very soon. There was a combo with Tsukiyomi and Mask of Darkness in which you could actually apply to be able to recover this card every turn. And not only that, basically skipping your opponent's draw phase every single turn, which is kind of bad and degenerate and counterproductive, like I mentioned before. Should this card be legal at one point? Maybe not. Why is this card created? It's beyond my understanding. Only Konami knows. And yeah, this is why I have it in my list at number 9. course, number 8 goes to Self-Destruct Button. Now, this card just got banned a few years ago. I'm actually surprised how this card has been untouched until recent years. And of course, this card is basically responsible for a lot of draws in many tournaments. As a matter of fact, people were signing this card just to simply drag into game 2 because of the draw. So if you're in the bad predicament, you can just activate this card at the required life points that it requires you to activate this card. And yeah, you get the draw. This is a problem when it comes to competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! When you're playing in an actual tournament, whether it's a YCS or a local or Worlds. Nobody wants to drag the game even further. Let's just play the game as it is without having to bring this kind of shenanigans into the game, you know? Milling out, it's something, but activating this card just to play, just get a draw, easy draw. No, Konami. Why did he create this card? Again, why did he create this card? Why? Number 7 goes to Fiber Jar. This is the definitive jar, guys. The reason why I place Fiber Jar higher than Cyber Jar is because the fact that it can reset the game state. And when I mean that, think of it as Self-Destruct Button. However, it doesn't draw the game initially after flipping the card face up. It basically resets the game state to the point where both players must recover all their cards in their respective fields, their hands, from their graveyard back into the deck, including Fiber Jar itself. So this is bad because it just gotta drag the game even further, and you don't get rid of this card. If you run over it again, it's gonna do the same thing again. So both players' life points are completely untouched. Keep that in mind. It's just the fact that it's gonna drag the entire game, and again, it's very counterproductive to the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's unhealthy. It should never even be created in the first place. Konami, what have you done to this game? All these cards in the earliest days were really bad. Number 6 belongs to Mirage of Nightmare. Now, people could still argue whether this card should still be banned or it should be legal at some point. I honestly think that it should still be banned for numerous reasons, of course. One of those reasons happened to be the artwork. Just look at the guy. He's screwed. He's about to get mummy raped. Literally. Ugh. Well, guys, to be honest, that's not even a reason why this card is banned. The real reasons are these. First of all, you can draw as many cards until you have 4 cards in your hand during your opponent's standby phase. That's bonkers. Kind of like Cards of Demise. Kind of. And the other effect is that during your standby phase, you have to discard that many cards you drawn from your deck. Here's the problem though. The fact that this card discards cards during your standby phase could set up for such decks like Dark Worlds. Yeah, Dark Worlds can be a threat with this card, possibly. And other decks that rely on the graveyard, such as Infernoid, Zombies, and whatnot, Light Swarms, yada yada yada. So that could be kind of problematic, but you can also resolve this effect by not sending those cards that you've drawn to the graveyard by either hitting that card with an MST or some kind of spell or trap removal as soon before you actually dispatch your cards, of course. But that artwork though, ugh, sucks being that guy. Ugh, just thinking about it. Keep it banned, Konami, just keep it banned. And don't errata it, just let it be. And of course, number 5 goes to Cold Wave. What hasn't been said about Cold Wave already, guys? Because the card, it's just an LTK enabler. It should be banned because despite it restricting you from setting spell or traps as much as it's restricting your opponents, it affects them more because after their end phase, you could do whatever you want for any spell or traps that you have in your hand. But most of the time, they will use this card just to push for game, like get those big monsters, make those synchros, make those fusions and whatnot, and just push for game. Don't let your opponent have any back row access, and just finish them off. That's why Cold Wave is banned, and it should be banned. And it shouldn't get an errata either way, because they actually came out with a terrible version safe version called Cold Feet. You can check that card out. It's terrible. And number 4, we have Spellbook of Judgment. I hate this card so much. Yeah, 2013 was a very, very bad and stressful year for me, as for other duelists as well. Spellbook of Judgment should never have been created at all. It's poorly designed. This card just came out and it just pushed Spellbooks to be like the top tier deck that no one imagined them to be. Tier 0, along with Elemental Dragons. As a matter of fact, a lot of people think that Spellbooks are actually better than Elemental Dragons. Because here's the thing about Spellbook of Judgment, guys. This card allows Spellbooks to gain insane pluses, which is already so stressful to deal with. And they also get to special summon Spellcaster from your deck, and they usually go for Jogin the Spiritualist, in which you can't special summon any monsters during your turn. And if they happen to have Spellbook of Wisdom, which they'll most likely have for all the searches, they will always have that card set, and you can't even destroy this thing with spell or trap cards because it will get immune by that card, by the Spellbook of Wisdom, which is already, oh my god, so many painful memories that made my head hurt right now just thinking about it. But yeah, like Spellbook of Judgment, it's searchable, it's recoverable, well, recyclable that is, and it's just a card that why is it made like that in the first place? Why, Konami, why? I repeat, Konami, do not return Spellbook of Judgment. No.
I hate it! I'm going to hell!
And number 3, we have Sixth Sense. I'm actually surprised that this card has been out for more than 15 years in the LCG, and it was banned way back then. But the TCG decided to bring this card back in 2013, 2014, around those years, I think. And yeah, it was actually playable for like one format. It was like limited even before the card was even released. It got banned immediately in the next ban list. The fact that this card is banned is because either it will benefit, it's a win-win factor depending on which deck you're playing. Yes, it allows you to draw as many cards as you chose from the dice roll, of course. But also, for decks like Infernoids, Zombies, or Light Sworns that would utilize this card, or even Dragon Rulers when they were already crippled, they will still play this card with the playable Dragon Rulers, because the baby dragons were the only cards that were banned during that time. So it will really benefit them if they actually send those cards to the graveyard if they call those numbers wrong. So yeah, like Sixth Sense, good riddance. And number 2 goes to Victory Dragon. Again, questionable why was this card ever made. There's so many win conditions, even copies of this card, but they were unplayable. Whereas Victory Dragon seemed to be playable, if I'm not mistaken. Victory Dragon itself, it's hard to bring this guy up. You have to tribute 3 monsters to special summon this guy up. And to actually get his win condition, here's how you win. You have to basically wipe up your opponent's life points with 1 attack by this guy to 0, of course. And not only that, you win the match by doing so. Listen to what I just said right now. You win the match. Yes, it could be game 1, game 2, game 3. Well, most importantly, game 1. If you pull this off, you win the match. You don't go to game 2. You go immediately towards a different opponent. You win that match. So yeah, why? Why, Konami? And last but not least, number 1 goes to Last Turn. Come on, guys. This card is completely degenerate. And it's easy to see why, based on what this card, how it works, of course. Which I'll briefly explain it right now, of course. Konami gives you this impression that it's gonna be an epic face-off between these 2 big buffy monsters. You see Hino Takiguchi, you have the Yamata Dragon, so they're gonna duel it off. That's what Konami tells you to do. But no, somehow it's a completely different story. First of all, you would need to have at least 1,000 life points, which you can easily do while revealing light. So you will have to activate this card during your opponent's turn, of course. You activate it immediately at the start of their turn, and both you and your opponent must send all cards from each other's hands and on each other's fields to the graveyard, and then your opponent gets to choose a monster from their deck and special summon it in attack mode, and then that monster has to attack your monster. But here's the catch which makes this card so stupid. Let's say you have, Spirit Reaper in your side of the field. Well, your opponent cannot destroy Spirit Reaper whatsoever, so guess what? That's a draw. It's a freaking draw, guys. What happens if you have Jogan the Spiritualist? Well, your opponent can't special summon a monster, so that immediately gives you the win. It's an auto win card, an instant win. What the fudge? Literally, Konami, why? Why is this card a thing? Why has it been created? Why did you lie to us? There's gonna be a monster mashup between it, and this big monster's gonna take down your monster, and it's gonna grant either player that win fairly. No, this is complete degeneracy. It should not exist whatsoever. It will never come out of the balance. It should never be errata. It should be locked in the depths of hell. Screw this card. Whew. Well, guys, that basically sums up my top 10 list of cards that will never ever be unbanned. Don't errata them, Konami. Don't you dare. You might be wondering why other cards are not included in this list, guys. I getcha. I will be making another video, a part 2 video as a matter of fact. Very soon, with your support, I will give you my other top 10s for this particular topic. But I will be doing others as well, of course. Keep that in mind. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like and subscribe button, and be sure to check my content every so and then. I will be posting at least 2 to 3 videos weekly. Give me the time and effort, and I will improve the content in this channel. We will rise together, guys. Yeah. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Dank Lord Supremes. Peace out, guys.